Everyday climate disasters confirm the mathematical model of the development of cataclysms presented at the Forum Global Crisis. There is a way out.
Thank God we're still alive. I've lived here for 64 years and I've never seen anything like this. Let's hope it's all in the past.
It's very bad. I'm in a very bad situation. Water up to my neck on the first floor. Who will pay for the damage? Everything we have in our house we have to throw out into the street.
The problem is this area behind. 90% of Faenza has gone underwater and people are panicking.
We're ruined. All our basements are flooded. The first floor, everything is flooded. Everything is ruined. We took everything out. Look at this.
Have you been in the house?
Yeah, 1.5 meters of water. 2 meters. Look here. We were in the house and saw it coming. Its level kept rising. It had tremendous power. Nobody's helping us. Nobody. My neighbors and we are helping each other.
An emergency situation due to extreme rains has developed in northern Italy. Since the beginning of May 2023, in less than 2 weeks, some areas have received more rain than expected in half a year. The floods that began on May 16th in the Emilia-Romagna region claimed the lives of at least 14 people, and the number of displaced people reached 15,000.
We need generators because we have ill people who need electricity, and we don't have it. There is no water and there is not even any gas. So we are in a complete state of emergency.
It's very, very sad. I have an apartment there. It's completely flooded.
I miraculously survived because I was down here checking the wall so that it wouldn't collapse. All of a sudden, when I went upstairs, everything collapsed within 10 minutes.
Some of the animals were in the pasture. We miraculously saved them because it was the day before. If it hadn't been for that, they would have all been carried away. We miraculously found them.
We're saved. We're trying to help our neighbors who were so severely harmed. We're doing everything we can.
In some areas, a red danger level and a high threat of landslides remain for several days in a row, especially in the Apennines. In total, more than 280 cases of soil displacement were recorded. The province of Ravenna was one of the hardest hit, with the most severe food and water shortages. Damage caused by the disaster was estimated at several billion euros. Meteorologists described this event as the worst flood in Italy in the last 100 years.
Fortunately, only our basement and hallway were flooded, and that was it. It was worse for our neighboring merchants who had a business. They lost everything. Even the warehouse was flooded.
Almost everything has to be thrown out because all the equipment was under the mud too. That's why we're starting to repurchase everything: computers, recorders, equipment, phones. A few items that were on the upper floors were safe, while everything else had to be thrown out.
Nothing was saved. Nothing.
You are still trying to clean up.
Yes, we're trying to remove water and save at least what was upstairs, at least our documents that were upstairs, those which didn't get wet. But the electrical appliances, the computers, all of that will have to be thrown away.
We were relatively lucky. We have to throw out 70% of the warehouse downstairs in the basement. There was nothing upstairs, but water was up to the waist in the warehouse. All the wool and cotton, everything has to be thrown out.
Heavy rains in the second decade of May made some regions of the Balkan Peninsula a natural disaster zone. The greatest flooding occurred in Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as Croatia. Due to the sharp rise in the water level in the rivers, a state of emergency was declared in some places. The damage done to agriculture is enormous.
All crops I have, everything is underwater. In previous floods, at least there was some corn left, or there was a stover left. Now, everything is underwater. Now, there is nothing.
I have been here for 48 years, but there has never been this much water. So all crops are gone, everything is gone. I don't know what to tell you. It's sad, but there are people who suffered even more.
Local residents were simply at a loss from the fact that the water kept on coming. They had to save their homes from the attack of the disaster on their own.
The situation is alarming as far as water is concerned. It is constantly flooding. It is raining, repeating the year 2014.
It is critical for us now. We are afraid for the house. Will it grow more? Will the water come so much that it enters the house? And it doesn't take much more to grow, so it could reach it.
It's terrible. We moved down here 2 years ago. We didn't know about this situation. In fact, they say that it wasn't like that earlier. This is the third case of flooding. We didn't sleep all night.
In Obrovats, the river level reached a historical maximum of 302 centimeters, which is almost 40 centimeters higher than the previous record. Water flooded many homes and enterprises. In Grachitz, people fled the flood on the upper floors or were forced to leave their homes. During the first 17 days of May, 500 millimeters of precipitation fell in the city, which is almost 4 times more than the monthly norm. On May 15th, the local weather station recorded 256 millimeters, which is the highest daily rate since the beginning of meteorological observations. This amount of precipitation is anomalous for Grachitz, where November is considered the wettest month. Unfortunately, in the affected regions, people were left alone with their misfortune.
Nothing is being done by the municipality, civil protection.
How was the night?
It was stormy at night too. We saved the neighbor's stuff as much as we could. The worst thing is that the civil protection doesn't prepare anything. They just come in the evening when the water pours out and then they ask if you have bags, if you have sand, instead of preparing it earlier, to distribute it to people earlier who are at critical points where they are. So it's just a disaster.
No one came to us, not even to ask if we have drinking water. Since you see it here, it means it is not usable. They say one thing, but in reality it is another. They just drive by. Nobody does anything.
We're tired of all this. I don't know how many times this has happened.
Can we prevent climate disasters, save ourselves and the planet? The answers to these and many other questions were voiced on April 22, 2023, at the International Online Forum Global Crisis. There is a Way Out, which was simultaneously interpreted into 150 languages. The whole world must know this truth, while we still have a chance to survive.